All right, welcome back to another synthesis tutorial for MUST 341. At this point, things are getting a little bit complicated, so rather than spending the time to patch through on everything, I have already created these patches and I've put them on the learning management system for you to download. So instead, I'm just going to walk through what they are and how they work. This first one is two different ways of approaching additive synthesis. And at its most basic, additive synthesis is using multiple oscillators or one larger oscillator to create multiple waveforms that are then summed together and you can hear as chords or as detuned variants of the same note. So that is the Instruo Troika down here. It's a triple oscillator. Very common to see this in a lot of synthesis programs. Now, the other way to do this, however, is a little bit more complicated. This is taking sine waves and summing them together with different frequency offsets and different amplitude offsets in order to create a new waveform. So up here, I have 4 VCOs. They're all sending sine waves, but I'm also sending a square wave into the sink of oscillator 2, 3, and 4. Then, while they are all tuned to the same frequency, I'm using different scaling and offsetting for 2, 3, and 4 to change the pitch so that they're ever so slightly different, and that as a result, we have just slightly different offsets. So here, the signal offset is plus 2.169 volts, here it's plus 1.463 volts, and here it's plus 0.675 volts. Then down here, I've also got them all running into this mixer before going into a filter. And with this mixer, I've scaled down their amplitude, and I'm using the Mix 4 from Bog Audio because this actually shows decibel scales, which is very, very helpful when you're doing this. So here is the same note. This is middle C. And it sounds pretty much like a saw wave. Because I've got this scaled to the first 4 partials of the saw wave, so the fundamental, overtone 1, 2, and 3. But if I change the amplitude of these by adjusting their position on the mixer, you'll hear some very different things. So think of this as allowing you to play around with editing the harmonics of the notes. And just as the Fourier theorem states that any periodic signal can be reduced to the sum of sines of different amplitudes, you can use that as a starting point. Of course, you don't have to use a simple 4-channel mixer. You can, in fact, go a little bit crazier. So if I go to the Bog Audio tag and search for mixer, I have a Mix 8, I've got a Mix 8 X, I have a Mix 4, and there are ways that I can extend this even further. If I reset that, there is, I believe, up to a 32 channel, 24 channel from the MSC Hacks brand. So you can get really crazy with this and use that to create very, very complex spectra from nothing but sine waves at different amplitudes.